Our next presenter is Gabrielle Biedermann. Gabrielle resides in Marion and attends Linn-Mar High School. The title of her project is The Reaction Project, putting the action into reactions by spreading awareness of food allergies and related mental health.
President Herbert Hoover fed 10 million starving people over a 5-year span beginning in 1914. He set the standard for humanitarian aid both at home and internationally. At that time, food allergies were practically unheard of. Today, 1 in 11 people has severe food allergies. Relative to the 10 million people President Hoover fed, there would have been 900,000 people who required special dietary accommodations. My name is Gabrielle Biedermann, and I am one of those people. I was born in Marion, Iowa, and I've lived there my whole life. This is my mom, dad, and my 2 sisters. My favorite thing in the whole world is singing, and I plan on attending the University of Iowa in the fall to major in social work. If I hadn't told you, you would have no idea that I have a long list of severe anaphylactic food allergies. You wouldn't know because it's an invisible disability. You could see my face swell up with hives if I were to have a reaction, but you cannot see the fear, anxiety, and social isolation it has caused in every day of my life. I was born with my food allergies. I have never lived a day without them, and I have learned to not only survive, but thrive. I've been so blessed with such an incredible support system in my parents. However, it was not always this easy. For people who have experienced a life-threatening reaction, food becomes a threat, and every social event includes food. It becomes easy to develop anxiety and social isolation. Telling a child that they weren't invited to the birthday party because you didn't want them to feel left out of the cake and ice cream seems a little hypocritical. My initial desire for this project was to help people who don't have food allergies understand what it feels like. I also had a goal of helping those with food allergies feel seen and heard. When I was young, I would have done anything to believe that more people understood what I was feeling and going through, or even that life would get easier. This is the Reaction Project. I put positive action into what is always a negative reaction for people with food allergies. My first step of the Reaction Project was to utilize social media platforms. I created and posted a series of educational messages on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I received hundreds of interactions on my posts. I touched on topics of physical symptoms, treatments, maintaining friendships, traveling, and most importantly, mental and emotional well-being when living with this invisible disability. For my next step, I created an informational letter for educators titled What I Wish My Teacher Knew, that is currently being shared with all teachers in the Linn-Mar School District. This letter outlines how teachers can utilize my experiences to help food allergy students logistically, socially, and emotionally. An even newer addition to this first phase is a project inspired by the National Teal Pumpkin Movement, which was started in 2012. Pumpkins were painted teal, which is the color of food allergy awareness, to signify non-food items for trick-or-treaters. This program is all about making allergy kids feel included around Halloween when everything is food-oriented. I ran with this concept and provided each allergy student at all 7 elementary schools in my district a care package with little non-food alternatives so they could still feel seen and special. I made and distributed 112 bags. Each goodie bag also included an encouraging note relating to how they're feeling and making sure they know they're not alone. I'll read the message I included. Dear food allergy friend, my name is Gabby. I'm a 12th grader at Linn-Mar High School, and I have food allergies too. I remember how sometimes it's hard at Halloween when you can't have the same treats as your friends, so I made you this little goodie bag. I'm so proud of you, and I know you are going to do amazing things. Have a super fun Halloween. Sincerely, Gabby. This past summer, shortly after our June Uncommon Student Weekend, I was volunteering for the National Honor Society at our local food pantry. This is the regional food reservoir, so all donations go through there before being divided and sent to the smaller local pantries. While working on my task of sorting through pallets and pallets of non-perishable foods, I realized there were almost no allergy-friendly options. And by almost none, I mean I found one singular box of expired gluten-free taco shells. I couldn't even begin to comprehend what it would be like to be experiencing food insecurity and have food allergies. Special dietary foods are easily double the cost of the regular version. Can you imagine if you were allergic to gluten but didn't have enough money for groceries? You would rely on food pantries for food, but everything contains gluten. What if it were your child instead? With my mind fresh on how President Hoover fed millions of people, I knew I had to do something. This is when my project expanded from simply education to action, and I never could have imagined what this idea would turn into. I reached out to 17 local food pantries and asked if there was a need for allergy-safe foods among their clients, and if so, what kind of quantities they could use. The response was huge. They confirmed for me that this is a big issue, and whenever they received small quantities of allergy foods, they flew off their shelves. They were grateful for as much as I could give. I'd like to share one of the responses I received. Thank you so much for your remarkable volunteerism and dedication to helping our community. We are truly inspired by your project and your desire to provide food to those with dietary restrictions, a group that often faces additional challenges when it comes to meeting their nutritional needs while experiencing food insecurity. We do have a significant need for foods that meet a variety of dietary restrictions, and we want to commend you on doing such a thorough job of identifying the most helpful items. In terms of quantity, we would be extremely grateful to receive as much as you are able to donate. The need is quite large, as foods that meet dietary restrictions are often among the first to run out. Thank you again for your generosity and for championing this vital cause. Your support will make a difference in the lives of many. Next, I needed funding. I created a post on Facebook to friends and family, sharing the problem, outlining the solution, and asking everyone if they could donate even just $1. I never could have imagined that in a matter of days, we would have raised $1,300. Over $1,300, sorry. I was really touched and surprised by the number of people who shared how food allergies had affected them or someone they loved. Without this project, I would have never made those connections. The enthusiasm, encouragement, and donations were heartwarming. After gathering the funds, I reached out to 14 grocery stores, explaining my project and budget and asking if they could provide a discount. One Fairway charged me just 5% over their cost, another giving me a $100 gift card. Finally, I contacted 22 allergy-safe food manufacturers and shared my story. Numerous manufacturers responded by sending me coupons and vouchers for free products. With all the money, coupons, and discounts collected, my mom and I got to shopping. I will not lie to you, it was so much fun. Walking into a store and buying items with what felt like unlimited money. But it was also fun because it gave us that warm feeling inside to tell the cashiers and customers around us why we were spending $200 on just gluten-free pasta. Inspired directly by President Hoover's incredible humanitarian assistance, I am so proud to say that I was able to provide 2,712 servings to the food banks in my area. Every single food pantry I donated to used my son to start a dedicated allergy section. It was a life-changing experience delivering boxes and boxes of non-perishable foods to food pantries in Marion, Cedar Rapids, Hiawatha, Linn-Mar High School, and the University of Iowa campus. It was an honor to make an impact in my current community as well as my future community. Here's what the director of the university's food pantry said. First, I just want to say, wow, your letter not only melted my heart, but it was one of the most thoughtful gestures I have ever seen while overseeing the food pantry. You totally nailed it. We are definitely hurting for food items for those with allergies. Your donation will be a huge, huge help. I want to thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is huge. I also want to welcome you to the Hawkeye family. This is a special place, and you are going to thrive here. I will never be able to see the effect my project has on people's lives, but I will also never forget how it changed my life, how it opened my eyes to how much more important it is to me to help other people than myself. I have truly never loved doing anything as much as I loved getting to make a difference in the lives of people I will never meet, whether it was emotionally helping them feel heard or physically making their belly full. I plan to continue this project even after the Uncommon Student Program has ended. I will never be able to explain to you, sorry. It took my invisible disability and used everything I have felt, learned, suffered through, and turned it around into a driving force to help others. Here's how my project will continue. I hope to reach out more directly to allergy parents because I know my parents were afraid for the quality of my life when they first learned I had food allergies. I plan to send my teacher's letter to other districts in my area. I, of course, will not stop sharing on social media. I plan to make the Teal Pumpkin Project a yearly tradition and expand to other districts. I am certain the allergy food drive will continue. Many stores have offered me weekly pickups of their near-expired foods that are still safe to eat but can no longer be sold. I'm working on a consistent stream of income so we can continue to donate in large quantities often. Because even if someone has food allergies and is different from everyone else, they still deserve to be given this basic human right. I would like to thank the Herbert Hoover Presidential Foundation for creating this program and for inspiring me to find an unmet need and create a solution. I will leave you today with a quote from President Hoover and a closing thought for myself. 20 million people are starving. Whatever their politics, they shall be fed. I truly believe, whatever someone's politics and whatever their allergies, everyone deserves to be fed. Thank you.
Wonderful present. Wonderful presentation. Yeah, there we go. Takes a little. Wonderful presentation. Thank you. As the mother of a son with tree nut allergies, I feel you. My question to you is so much amazing energy output from you. Who did you have around you helping you with this project? And as you go forward to the University of Iowa and you talk about continuing the project, how are you going to get enough help and to be able to sustain it and manage the UI?
Yeah, that's a super good question. Thank you. I'll start with the people that surrounded me. I had so much support from so many people. Like I said, my parents have always supported me really well. I'm surrounded by teachers and professionals that work at my school that were all so happy to help with everything. And also that regional food reservoir that I was volunteering at, the manager there was so helpful with everything. And also store managers at the stores I worked through and the managers of the food pantries. I was so overwhelmed with support from everybody, so that really helped with working everything out. And then how I plan to continue, I'll start with the food drive. I want to work through HACAP is what the regional food reservoir is called. When I was first there, I asked the manager if they had any kind of setup for allergy foods, and he said that they didn't, but they'd be super open to an idea about that. So I want to reach out to them and maybe figure out if they can divert some of their monthly funds to having a dedicated allergy section there, so they can have those options that can also be donated to the smaller pantries that are local. And then for the goodie bags, I'm hoping to work through the HOSA, the Future Health Workers of America Club at my school. Maybe we can start that as a fall project that they can use, because they also have funding that they have available that they get to spend on whatever projects they want. So I'm hoping they can start that. So it's finding a consistent stream of income as well as a consistent stream of communication between all of these groups, because I want to still have a position in it as I'm at Iowa, but I also hope to be able to have other people take in a role too, so it can continue even past me.
Thank you.
Excellent presentation. So did I get it right? You started the Teal Pumpkin?
I did not. It was
Oh.
started in 2012. I just took a little bit of inspiration from that and started the goodie bags, was my idea.
Okay, and then, what's the reason for the teal color? Is there some significance behind that?
That's a super good question. I feel like somebody must have just chose the color teal as like, you know, like breast cancer awareness has like pink. I feel like somebody just chose it. That's a good question. I don't know. I should look into that.
Right, thanks. And then the goodie bags, like how can we like publicize this more, I guess? Because I guess my nephew has food allergies and a neighbor up the street. I mean, so, but like, is it all the candy or you kind of have like a goodie bag side, you know, sort of like two different
Yeah.
parts?
So there's like a lot of different components for the goodie bags because I didn't know what everybody's specific allergies was. I just did all non-food things for those because like I'm allergic to peanuts and tree nuts and dairy and eggs and a whole list of other things. So it's hard for people to find things that I can have. So I would have just been happy with a little bag, and I just feel like instead of accidentally making someone feel more sad by getting something they couldn't have, I just wanted to do something that everybody could have.
Thank you.
Yes.
You mentioned as a little girl you go to a birthday party and they have cake and ice cream. So everywhere you go socially, it's eat and drink, everything. It's all centered around that. Tell us how you got through the mental side as a young child till now of dealing with you can't eat certain things. How do you deal with that mentally?
Yeah. I'm getting emotional, sorry. It was really hard. When I was little, it still affects me to this day, just my self-confidence and just socially, it's hard to explain to people just the feeling of like you're somewhere but you're not really there because you're just like half there, if you kind of know what I mean. I'm so happy I got to do this project because I was able to bring all of that hurt and make it into something to help other people. It is so special for me, especially when I could do stuff with kids because I'm just okay with it now. I just live with it. This is just my life. A couple weeks ago I went to a birthday party at a restaurant and they didn't have any food that I could have and I just sat there and I was with my friends and that's okay. It's just my life and I want to do all of this. The whole inspiration for all of it is I can't go back and tell myself when I was little that everything is okay and it works out and life is so good. So I want to be able to help others.
Excellent. I think one of your leadership qualities that I see is that, as a leader, you hear people bring their problems to you all day long. And I always tell my people, hey, bring me a solution. You went out and found a solution. You did a really positive thing to make things happen and what you dealt with. And I applaud that.